Watkins Glen wasn't just high-speed racing, it was F1's Woodstock, a sleepy village in upstate New York transformed once a year into the wildest stop on the Formula One calendar. Fast cars, fast corners, and even faster nights. This is the story of the Glen, the party track that made legends, broke hearts, and danced to its own rhythm. Unlike a lot of destinations on the Formula One calendar, Watkins Glen wasn't a racing town. It was a quiet village tucked into the Finger Lakes of upstate New York, a place of fishing boats, church bells, and corner stores. With a population of just a few thousand, life moved very slowly. Farmers worked the land, locals fished in Seneca Lake, and Main Street closed early. But once a year, everything changed. When Formula One came to town, Watkins Glen exploded. Locals rented out spare rooms, front lawns became car parks, the sound of V8 replaced birdsong, and the smell of race fuel replaced fresh pine. From 1961, the Glen became the beating heart of American Grand Prix racing. It was as if someone had dropped Monaco into a cornfield and lit a bonfire. The circuit at Watkins Glen wasn't just a strip of tarmac, it was a symphony of speed. The drivers didn't just race it, they felt it. The moment you left the pit, the track wrapped around you like a winding ribbon through the forest. The S's came first, flat out, blind, and terrifying. You'd crest the ride with the throttle pinned, praying the car stayed planted at the tree's blurred pass. It was a test of trust. Trust in your setup, your reflexes, and your nerve. Then came the loop, a sweeping right-hander that lured you in gently before snapping back with a bite. It punished hesitation and rewarded flow. If you got it wrong, you didn't just lose time, you lost control. In 1971, they added the boot, a technical section that twisted through the woods like a serpent. It slowed rhythm, demanded precision, and gave the Glen its final layer of complexity. Drivers called it honest, brutal, beautiful. It was a track that didn't flatter you, it exposed you. Watkins Glen didn't try to be glamorous. It didn't need to. And that is exactly why they loved it. It was raw, it was real, and it was utterly unforgettable. And that is why they loved it. For all of its charm, however, Watkins Glen had a darker side. The speed, the flow, the thrill, it all came at a cost. In October 1973, the paddock was buzzing with anticipation. The championship was settled, but the Glen was still a driver's circuit, a place to push, prove, and to play. François Cevert, Tyrrell's rising star, was doing just that. Young, elegant, impossibly fast. He was the heir apparent to Jackie Stewart. But in practice, something went wrong. At the top of the S's, Cevert lost control. His car struck the barriers at terrifying speed. The impact was fatal. Stewart, Cevert's mentor and teammate, withdrew immediately. Tyrrell pulled out of the race. Jackie Stewart never raced again. Jackie Stewart later recounted the moment he arrived at the crash. I arrived and stared in disbelief. There was my teammate, my protege, my friend, my younger brother. He was dead. The Glen, once a place of celebration, fell silence. The corner that sung with engines turned into a place of mourning. Mechanics wept. Drivers stood still. The party stopped, and for a moment, the forest echoed not with engines, but with grief. But in that silence, a resolve was born. Stewart, shocked yet determined, pushed tirelessly for safety. Out of Cevert's death came change, better barriers, higher medical standards, and a legacy of protection for those who would follow. If Spa was sacred and Monza majestic, Watkins Glen was liberated. It was the only Grand Prix where drivers stayed the whole weekend, not for media, not for sponsors, but for the party. As the sun dipped behind the trees, the paddock shed its serious facade. Mechanics rolled out grills beside the garages, fans lit bonfires along the fences, singing and shouting into the night. Music, rock, blues, anything someone had on vinyl, echoed through the woods. Drivers wandered freely, beers in hand, swapping stories with fans and locals. Sometimes a world champion would be found dancing in the dirt or playing guitar under the glow of firelight. James Hunt quipped that the hangover here lasted longer than the victory. One journalist at the Harvard Crimson called the drink-fueled madness in the muddy bog area the stuff of legend. For one weekend a year, the quiet corner of New York became motorsport stripped bare. No velvet ropes, no red carpets, just engines, sweat, and stories around bonfires. It was motorsport in its purest form, raw, unfiltered, and unforgettable. By 1980, the magic began to fade. The Glen was aging and the world was changing. Formula One, now a global spectacle, demanded more. More safety, more infrastructure, more polish. Watkins Glen, with its muddy campsites and rustic charm, couldn't keep up. The final race came and went, and just like that, the circus moved on. To Vegas, to Detroit, to places with glitz but none of the soul. But Watkins Glen never truly disappeared. It lingered in the memories of fans who camped in the bog, in the stories told by mechanics around garage fires, in the quiet reverence of drivers who once danced through the esses. It became a ghost of the golden age, a reminder of what motorsport once was, raw, human, and gloriously imperfect. Today, the Glen still hosts races. The track remains, but the spirit of those F1 weekends, the laughter, the chaos, the heartbreak, lives on in legend. And maybe that's the point. Not every chapter needs a sequel. Some stories are best left as they were, wild, beautiful, and unforgettable. If you enjoyed this journey into racing's forgotten past, there's plenty more to come. Like, subscribe, and follow Sector 1 channel for more stories from motorsport's golden age, where the cars were fast, corners unforgiving, and the nights legendary. What tracks or stories would you like to see next? Pop off in the comments. This was Forgotten Laps, and I will see you next time.